Licorice pizza, a term for vinyl 12-inch long playing or LP record, named because it is black and about the same size as a pizza. And here is the 19th edition of Licorice Pizza. And today we are going to talk about a super group. They might have invented that term, or the term was invented when this band started out in 66. You might know some of the members. Definitely one you will. But first, like, comment, and subscribe. Licorice Pizza, that's right, these great t-shirts you'll see on the screen. They come in different colors and different sizes. All right, the band I am going to talk about today, you hear that term supergroup all the time now. And a band that really, the first time I ever heard that was like way back. Yeah, way back. The band is Cream, featuring Mr. Slowhand, Eric Clapton himself, Jack Bruce on bass, who sadly passed away, the late great Jack Bruce, and the late great Ginger Baker. Cream. Okay, just a little background before we go to that first album that they released and recorded and released. Eric Clapton was with a band called the Yardbirds for about a year. They were a big group. They had some big hits. And then after the Yardbirds in 64, 65, I think he joined, it was 65, John Mayall and the Blues Breakers, Eric Clapton. And then he went on to this group, Cream. Those guys got together through many fights in the beginning. And even in the end, when they broke up, they did not get along. Ginger Baker, Beware of Mr. Baker. Did you ever watch that documentary? I think it was on Netflix. One of them. Oh, some of the stuff that went on, man. But this first album, they started recording in 66. And I think it was released back in 66. Fresh Cream, it was called. You see the three of them on the front cover. One's, and I think they're like in the Air Force or England's version of the Air Force or whatever it is. And you see these three faces because, Eric Clapton was pretty much a big star in England at that time. Huge star. So people bought the album, and it was their debut. That album is different than the next one I'll mention, Disraeli Gears. That's coming up because this album, they're in their own world, in their own universe. They're all great musicians, okay, and they would ad-lib, improvise. That's how you can think of Cream, that group, especially on this album. They would take a little bit of a song, sing it, then start playing leads, and they would go into their own. It's like they're almost playing different things at one time, but gelled together. Their improvising was amazing. So that album, just some of the songs, I Feel Free. You might have heard that one if it was played. You say, "Oh, I recognize that song." NSU, another song, the great tune off that. Sleepy Time. Dreaming, Sweet Wine, one of their popular songs. Their live version of that goes on for like 12, 13 minutes. Spoonful, Willie Dixon tune that he wrote, blues song that Cream covered. Very popular. Cream, really amazing version of that song. Also Rollin' and a Tumblin'. Jack Bruce on the harmonica, and they do a great version of that old song. And I'm So Glad, one of their popular songs they always did live. And Toad, song written by Ginger Baker and a drum solo. He was Ginger Baker, pretty much, he was a jazz drummer. That's what he did. Jack Bruce, jazz bass player. Clapton, heavily influenced in the blues, and then put them together. And you have that type of band. So that was their debut, Cream. And then we go on to, if you talk to most people, this album is their favorite Cream album. Disraeli Gears, okay? That's their favorite album.
Had so many great songs. Their sound changing here a little bit, maybe a lot. They're more psychedelic on this album. I found like from '67. It was the Summer of Love and all that. Still great music off it. Strange Brew, great song. Sunshine of Your Love. That's got one of the most popular riffs in music history. Da, 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 that riff. And that was actually the first song I ever heard by Cream was Sunshine of Your Love. And I kept listening to it and listening to it. Said, oh my goodness, what a great song. The other one, of course, is Blue Condition. That's one of those nice bluesy tunes that they did. Tales of Brave Ulysses, another song, very popular song by Cream. I don't, they did play it live. I've never heard a live version of that by Cream. And Outside Women Blues, another great song that they did. And also that song is done by a band called the Atlanta Rhythm Section. One of these episodes we'll have a show about the Atlanta Rhythm Section. One of my favorite country rock bands, Southern rock, absolutely. And yeah, it makes sense. They're from Georgia, so all right. Mother's Lament too. That's kind of a traditional song off Disraeli Gears, but that's the one they even got bigger. Sunshine of Your Love was massive, massive song, and they appeared on TV shows, variety shows. Glenn Campbell show that he had out. Cream appeared on there as well. Then we get to the next album, Wheels of Fire. Okay. This is a different type of album. Okay, a lot of you know the song White Room. That's the studio version. Sitting on Top of the World. Politician, great blues song. Pete Brown, Jack Bruce wrote the song Politician. Born Under a Bad Sign. That's a Booker T. Jones song that he wrote. Another cover. Cream did such great covers of these songs. And Deserted Cities of the Heart. The studio stuff was great, and we'll get on to this one. One of those albums within the set was all studio, and the other was all live. So it's a double album. People first bought it, they're thinking, oh, it's all studio. No, one was live. The live part. Should I say this? I'm going to say it. I think the amazing song Crossroads is off Wheels of Fire. I would consider that particular song at the Fillmore East, 1968, one of the greatest live performances and one of the greatest guitar solos in rock history. I would say top 10. I know there's a lot of great solos, a lot of great bands, but that thing was live, just raw and live. And there was no any overdubs, anything funny going on that side. That was just an amazing performance. As far as the rest of that live album, I have to say I'm a little disappointed in it. I don't know why it just didn't connect with me. But Crossroads, outstanding version at the Fillmore East off that album. White Room, of course, such a classic song. Pressed Rat and Warthog. Now that song is not really mainstream, folks. And now Ginger Baker, yes, he wrote that, co-wrote it with Mike Taylor, Press Rat and Warthog, that song. So if you listen to some Cream, don't play that as your first song to go by, okay? We're oh dear, this is getting interesting. Okay, and then their last album, Goodbye Cream. Yes, it was the end. They couple years officially they broke up in '69. I think their last concert at the in London, okay, at the Royal Albert Hall. I was so looking forward to watching that, and when I did back in the day, I said this camera work is atrocious. Atrocious. Whoever film this. They're bouncing, they're going back and forth like this on the camera and not showing anybody for over 2 seconds or showing this over here. Then they go like, I said, this is awful. And I said, am I the only one? So I started reading reviews of that concert, and it's like a great show. They sounded phenomenal. Their last concert, I believe, and they didn't film it correctly. So anyway, yeah, but we'll get on to Goodbye Cream. Yeah, that was it. Some very recognizable songs off this one. Well, since Eric Clapton helped George Harrison and the Beatles on the White Album, George Harrison returned the favor to Eric Clapton, and he co-wrote the song Badge, big hit by Cream, and Eric Clapton, George Harrison. So there you go. George plays guitar on that one. And Politician, another tune off that one, Sitting on Top of the World. Good song, great song. There's 2 live songs on this album, Politician and Sitting on Top of the World. And now we get to the part. I got a couple more things I'm going to say. My favorite Cream song. This one I'll go with. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. White Room. I'll go with White Room. Underrated, Crossroads. People got to listen to that. I think that's an underrated Cream song that is just absolutely spectacular. That version of that song for a live recording, and it just at the Fillmore East, that legendary venue in New York. So then we go on, how many years later, from like 69 to 2005, guess who got back together again? Cream. That's right. I've got that on DVD. Eric Clapton, Jack Bruce, Ginger Baker all got back together. A lot of people loved it. Some people said, oh, it's not like it was when Cream were together in 68 and 67. Of course not. It's a whole different time. Actually, I loved it. I loved it. I thought they sounded amazing for not being together for decades. They got together and did 4 shows at the Royal Albert Hall in London, then 4 shows or 5 shows at Madison Square Garden. Or was it 3 or 4? But anyway, that's a great show. I people were criticizing it. Oh, it doesn't sound like the Cream of 1968. Well, partly because they were on substances, I can't say that, yeah, they were taking things, okay. And yeah, you could tell, man, they were just back in the 60s, whole different time period. But I'll tell you what, I thought they sounded amazing. And I've got that. It's a double DVD set, and they have it on CD, and probably since vinyl's really big, they probably have it on vinyl as well. But I thought that was great. Unfortunately, Jack Bruce passed away, and Ginger Baker passed away. Eric Clapton, the only surviving member of the group Cream. But Ginger Baker was having, financial problems. He'd make money, then he'd spend it all. So that gave him a great source of money because it sold very well. So he made good off that. And but that 2005, you want to check that out too. The concert that they did, half of it's from the Royal Albert Hall, the other half from Madison Square Garden. And I love it all. I thought it was great for 3-piece, and Jack Bruce, amazing bass player. That's the thing about Cream, improvisation. They're just doing, the great musicians, every one of them. And they somehow they can play different things all at once, but still sound like a band. Not too many can do that. So that is that. My underrated slice again is Crossroads. Do listen to that. Favorite song, I don't know, White Room. I just love that tune. And Cream have so many. There's a fine line between the favorite, number 2, number 8. I don't know. Anyway, that is a wrap on the super group Cream. And you can like, comment, please, and subscribe as well. And those great, awesome t-shirts come in many different colors and sizes. And you'll see them on the screen here. Until the next time, peace out.